Alright guys, so last thing we did was kites, and now we're going to move on right after that to section 9.6, areas and the coordinate plane. And today we're going to be doing parallelograms. Okay, so that's the shape we're going to look at today. So, first of all, how do you find the perimeter of a parallelogram? The perimeter is going to be add all sides. Just like you've learned for perimeter in the past, same thing, just add all sides. How do you calculate the area of a parallelogram? Is actually just area equals base times height. Okay? So those are the two formulas you have to know. So moving on, we have to find the perimeter and area of each parallelogram and round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So let's look at number 1, our first shape right here. Let's start with the perimeter. Perimeter equals add all sides. So, by the properties of a parallelogram, we know that if this side is 30, the opposite side is 30. And if this side is 20, the opposite side is also 20. So the perimeter is just 30 plus 30 plus 20 plus 20. So the perimeter is 100 centimeters, right? The area around the outside of the shape, that's the perimeter, 100 centimeters. Now let's look at the area. So the area is the amount of space inside the shape, right? Now we know the formula is base times height. The one thing is when we're talking about height, we're talking about when we make a right angle with the base. So if you were to turn this shape right now, this is actually our base. You can use either set aside as a base. You just have to make a right angle and go to the top, and that is what your height is. You're not just doing one side times the other side, okay? So if our height comes from this base, we know that this is our base value, right? Because it's coming from that base. That's where we're drawing the height from the base. So our base value is going to be 20, and our height is going to be 26. That's what it says here. That's our height. So our area equals 520 centimeters squared. Alright, remember, area is squared, perimeter is not. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, let's start with the perimeter. Perimeter is at all sides, so this is 5.5 feet, and this is 4 feet. So all we have to do, 5.5 plus 5.5 plus 4 plus 4, and we get a perimeter of 19 feet. Moving on to area. Area equals base times height. This was our value for height given here. You can see by the right angle, which means that 5.5 is our base. So area equals base, 5.5 feet, times our height, which is 3.5, and we get an area of 19.3 feet squared. Alright, let's move on to number 3. 3, we have to first find the perimeter. Perimeter is adding up all the sides. We know that this is 14 yards, And this is going to end up being 7 yards just by looking at the values of the sides that they are across from. So perimeter equals 14 plus 14 plus 7 plus 7. So then the perimeter is equal to 42 yards. And then for area, remember, it's going to be our base times our height. And our height is the value that comes for making a right angle on the base, right? The height is perpendicular to the base. So area, base times height, or 14 by 4.9, and we get 68.6 yards. All right, let's look at number 4. Number 4, perimeter at all sides. So 26 plus 26 plus 22 plus 22, and we get 96 inches. And then for area, base times height. Area equals our base, which is 26 inches. I know this looks blank. They didn't give us the value right here, but remember it's the same as what's across from it. Right? So if this is 26 inches in the green, then this empty circle in the purple will also be 26 inches. So base times height, 26 inches for the base, and then 15.6 inches for the height. And we get 405.6 inches squared. All right. Let's look at number 5. Now, number 5, at all sides, but these lines are telling us that the sides are congruent, and then the angles are telling us that they're also right angles, so we know this is a square. Right? We know that all the sides are the same. So 3.4 meters for every single side. So when we do perimeter, we just do 3.4 times 4. You could add them up 4 times, you would get the same answer, it doesn't matter. So the perimeter is 13.6 meters. Now for the area, we just do base times height. Our base is right here. They're all the same. 3.4 times our height. But since the side is perpendicular to the base and they form a right angle, 3.4 is also the height. So we get 11.6 meters squared. This is why you might have seen the formula area of a square is side squared. That's basically what we just did, but if you don't need to know that formula. That's what's nice about this. If you know the parallelogram, perimeter and area formulas, you can do it for any shape that qualifies as a parallelogram, a square, a rhombus, a rectangle. They all work with these formulas, which is really nice. Okay, so let's look at number 6, last but not least. Perimeter is at all sides. We know that the opposite sides are congruent, so this is going to be 18.5 and this is going to be 9, right? By looking at our congruent symbols. So all we have to do is 18.5 plus 18.5 plus 9 plus 9. We get a perimeter of 55 kilometers. Don't forget your label, guys. I know it's easy to, but you need to get used to using those. Alright? For area, we do base times height. Our base is 18.5 kilometers. And then our height, since this is a right angle right here, our height is going to be 9. So our area is equal to 166.5 kilometers squared. Alright guys, these are formulas you have seen before. Area equals base times height. You just have to know now in a parallelogram that the height has to be perpendicular with the base. Alright? So make sure you're doing that.